wherever you are. Welcome. Today we're doing a yoga class for balance and energy. And also think about where your mind goes when you do hard poses. And then try to let that go and just try to be in the moment with your breath and where you feel it in your body. So starting out in mountain pose, lift up through your legs, palms forward, shoulders over, hips. Lift up your toes, feel the inner outer edges of your feet, and feel that energy coming up through the insides of the legs, arches of the feet. And then put your toes back down and grip your toes gently as long as we're standing. So just to get started, just start to breathe in. When the arms come up, breathe out. When the arms go down. Palms up, inhale. Palms down, exhale. So let's try this about 10 times. Filling up from the bottom to the top, from the belly, the ribs, heart center. Inhaling through the nose. Inhaling, exhaling through the nose, from the belly to the throat. So let's give it a try. Expand the belly, expand the ribs, breathe into the heart center, like filling up a pitcher of water. One more time. Next time the arm's going to come overhead, we're going to keep them there. And look up at your hands, volcano pose. So knit your ribs down here so you don't go into your lower back. Shoulders down, pulling those lats down, shoulders down away from the ears. Give it a few breaths. Right arm down to your hip. Take a breath in. As you take a breath out, we're going to go to the right. Exhale. So try to go directly side. Trying to align the shoulders. Notice where you feel the pose. Notice your breath. You need to bend your knees a little bit. Bend your knees. Let that go. Bring the other arm up, right arm up, take a breath in, and go to the left. Exhale. And then bring the arms back up again. Look up. Hold the muscles in the neck, hold the lats, the middle back. Upper back down. And then we're going to go directly to the right. Exhale. Now if it bothers your shoulders, bring that other arm back down again, right? Go to the left, exhale. Let that go. Bring your hands to your hips, take your hips, your feet a little bit wide. And we'll just do some hip circles. So bend your knees a little bit, right? And start small and then get bigger. You don't want to be in any pain. I do something, show you something that causes pain, you back out. Numbness or tingling, can't breathe, nausea, all these are signs that you'd be too deep into the pose and you need to come out and do less depth or come out altogether. All right, bring the feet back underneath the hips, bring the arms up. This time, bring the hands like behind your, like putting your hands in your jean pockets, right? And we're just gonna lift up from the bottom to the top here. Shoulder blades towards one another. Give it a few breaths. Let that go. Now we're going to do it again, but you can press the arms like pressing the big ball behind you or clasp hands behind. Take a breath in, fill from the bottom to the top, inhale. Let that go. So we're going to go into sun salutations. I'm going to turn my mat to the side so you can see a little bit better. So take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, arms overhead. Little baby back bend here. Squeeze your butt to protect your back. Swan dive over. Bend the knees if you need to. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back into a runner's lunge. Drop your knee, relax your foot into the floor. And you can come up on your thigh. You can have your hands, tips of the fingers on the floor. So push right here where the thigh and the butt meet. Push into the top of the right foot. Give it a few breaths here. And sit back to your plank position. So here, if you want to, you can come down onto your knees. You could come down onto your forearms, right? So you could just hold it there. Whatever works for you today. So let's hold this a few counts. So a few breaths. So looking past the mat, opening up the shoulder blades, hollowing out the front of the body, grip the fingers. Let's breathe 5 breaths. Go ahead, drop to your knees. Hug your body with your elbows and lower to the floor. We're going to go into Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath your shoulders and spread your legs apart a little bit. Press into the floor, press into the tops of your feet, looking past your mat. By pressing your hips into the floor and your feet into the floor, you're strengthening and protecting the back, lengthening the spine. Give it a few breaths. Come on down, hands underneath your shoulders, push back, tuck toes, hips up and back, down dog. So you could bend your knees here if that felt better. Push away from the wrist and the forearms. Tuck your chin, chest towards your thighs, heels towards the floor. So we're trying to rotate the shoulders externally. It's a very subtle move. Think about the elbows moving, pointing more towards the mat, but it's very subtle, small move. Give it a couple more breaths. Go ahead and come on down to your knees. Bring your right foot forward. Help your hands if you need to. Right knee over right ankle. Again, you can have fingertips on the floor or hand on thigh. Pressing down the hips, pushing into the top of the left foot. All right, shift your weight over your right foot. Bring your left foot to meet your right foot. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Back up a little bit. Forward fold, exhale. Bend those knees, come up with a flat back, inhale. Hands to heart center. Let's go again. Arms overhead, baby back bend. Swan dive over, exhale. Inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back with your left leg this time. Drop the knee into the floor, relax the foot into the floor. Hands on thighs, push the hips down. Couple of breaths here. Check your knee over ankle alignment. Notice your breath, notice where you feel it. But bring your breath to where you feel it. Bring your breath to where it's tight. Talk to yourself, soften, let go, release. Step back into your plank position. Take a breath in. As you take a breath out, drop to your knees. Hug your body with your elbows lower to the floor. This time we're going to come up into Cobra. Elbows close to the body. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Take a few breaths. Tuck toes, hips up and back, down dog. Exhale. If you want to, you can work through your feet here. Shift your hips a little bit. Get it 2 or 3 breaths. Coming back down to your knees, bring your left leg through. Help it if you need to. Hands on thighs or fingertips on the floor. If you have blocks, you can put your hands on blocks. Give it a few breaths. Shift your weight over your left leg. Bring your right leg to meet your left leg. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Then your knees come up with a flat back, inhale. Hands to heart center. So we're doing a little bit of a balance, balancing flow here. So we're going to bring the arms overhead and go into tree pose. So you can turn out your right knee, lift the heel, and bring the arms overhead and stay right here for tree. If you want to, you could bring your foot to your calf or above your knee, whatever is your practice today. So find a focal point and breathe. Turn the knee forward. We're going to do stork pose. So again, you can just lift the heel. If you want to, you can lift the knee. And then come on down. So we're going to just lift the heel first, and then we're going to twist the upper body to the right. So you can just keep it like that if you want to, or you can lift the knee. Think strong and light at the same time. Think energy coming out the fingers, out the toes, rooting into the earth. And come on down. Back to center. We're going to do a chair pose, feet underneath your hips. And if you want to, you can twist to the right. So check your knees to make sure one knee is not sticking out more than the other. Let his back chest is lifted. And back to center. And come on up. Starting from the beginning again, bring the arms overhead. Move a little bit faster this time. Looking up, volcano pose. Breathe 2 or 3 breaths. Feel that lengthening into the floor. Grip those toes, lifting up through the thighs. Shoulders down away from the ears. All right, left hand goes to the hip, move to the left, exhale. Think about knitting these ribs together and down to take the weight out of the lower back. Bend your knees if that feels better for you. Always have a micro bend, and always anyway. Always a micro bend. Take a breath in, exhale. Trying to go directly side. That might mean you need to come up a little bit to go directly side to get that proper alignment. Let that go. Bring the arms overhead. Again, 3 breaths. Coming up, go straight to the left here. If you need to drop that hand, drop it back down if that bothers your shoulders or your neck. Coming up, exhale to the right. So hands in your back pocket and breathing from the bottom to the top. Bringing the shoulder blades towards one another. Grip your toes. Come on up. Remember, we can press the big ball or we can clasp hands behind. Lift the heart. Go. We're going back into some salutations. Take a breath in and breath out. Inhale, arms overhead, baby back bend, exhale. Swan dive over. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back into our plank position. Hollowing out the front of the body. We're going to drop to our knees. Keep the butt up a little bit. We're just going to sort of dive down. We're not going to touch the belly down. We're coming straight up to baby cobra. Tuck toes, hips up and back, down dog. Give it a few breaths here. Walk your feet underneath you. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And those knees come up with the flat back, inhale. We're going to go through this one more time. Here we go. Take a breath in. Baby back bend. Swan dive over. Inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back into your plank position. Take a breath in. Drop to your knees. We're going to just sort of dive down here, but still stays up a little bit. Dive through, up to your cobra. Tuck toes, hips up and back, down dog. Give it a few breaths. Remember, chin towards your chest towards your thighs, heels towards the floor. Sternally trying to rotate those shoulders. Grip your fingers. Pushing away from the wrists and the forearms. Walk your feet underneath you. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And those knees come up with a flat back. Hands to heart center. Now moving into the balance part. So, starting with the tree pose on the left side now. So you can just lift the heel, turn out the knee, and then stack the foot on top of the other foot and stay right here. If you want to, you can bring your foot to the calf or above the knee, but not on the knee. Let's give it some breath. Tighten your Kegel muscles. Find your focal point. Right? So check your knees stay in line, and then you'll dip to the left. You don't have to be on the outside of the knee, only if you want to. Keep your hands to your chest. Let that go. All right, take a drink of water if you need it. Got it. Keep it this way. Okay. So moving into a lunge series. You need blocks. You'll get blocks. All right, so left leg's gonna go back first here. So step back into your lunge. Hips are even, right? Hips are even, toes are pointing forward. Heel is lifted in the back. And then we'll reach forward. Trying to have a nice long back. Let's give this a few breaths. Come on down, drop your knee down. Relax your foot into the floor. Now you can stay here in the center, or you can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee and press the hips down. Continue to press the hips down and forward. Give it a few breaths. How are we doing? Hopefully good. Use your modifications. Do what you need to do for your body. Feels right for your body. Now, a little challenge here. You can stay here if you want to, or you tuck that left toe and go back up into a runner's lunge. Now we're going to bring the arms forward, back into that low lunge here. All right, so we're going to bring the hands to the floor and just step the foot in. And we're going to go into a modified warrior 3. Now you can just have the fingers on your tips of your fingers or on blocks. Feel like you're pushing your foot into a wall, that left foot. Flex the foot, toes pointed down. All right, bring the foot in. And just go ahead and let's just round over here. And just stretch things out for a minute. You want to grab your elbows, do a little ragdoll stretch. Then the knees come up with a flat back. Inhale. And start center. All right, I'll turn this way to do the other side. So this time the left leg is going to go back, or whatever leg you didn't do. So we're in a lunge. Again, hips are even, toes are pointing forward, heels up in the back, and then reach forward. Nice long line in the back here. Give it a few breaths. Now I think I've done the wrong leg. I brought the left. Let me check this out. Yes, I brought the left leg back and I twisted this way. So I'm bringing the right leg back this time. I'm going to twist forward towards you. So, whatever leg you didn't do, step it back. Knee over ankle. Give it a few breaths here. Spatial orientation. It's a thing, right? Things that we need to work on. All right, come on down. Drop the right knee into the floor. Relax the right foot into the floor. So again, you can have your hands to heart center, or you can bring your elbow to the outside of the left knee. And then press those hips down. Give it a few breaths. All right, so you can stay here, or you can challenge yourself a little bit more. Tuck the toes and lift that back knee. Now bring the arms forward and reach back into that low lunge. hands come down. Just walk the foot in a little bit, and we're just going to lift that back leg. Right leg comes up, toes pointed down. Stay here for a few breaths. Keep the hips in line. Feel like you're pushing that foot into a wall. And then bring your feet together. Come up with a flat back. Wait, go ahead, let's roll back over again. Do that stretch again. Grab your elbows, little ragdoll stretch. Bend the knees, come up with a flat back, inhale. All right, take a drink if you need a drink. All right, let's come down to the floor. I always say, yay, when I come down to the floor. I'm in Florida, and I'm a sweaty man. But that's good. That means you're working, right? Bring the arms overhead, take a breath in, and come over. I'm gonna do a nice deep stretch, whatever your deep stretch is for you. You can bend your knees if you need to. Grab anywhere along the leg. Grab the feet. Looking at the knees, rounding the shoulders. Giving it 5 nice breaths from the belly to the throat, in and out through the nose. And let that go. You don't have to. You can, if you can't put your foot down, I say bring it to the inside of the knee, right? And you can just twist like this, right? With wrap the left arm around, right hand behind, and twist, looking over your right shoulder. Or you can do it this way. You can cross the foot over the knee and then bring the left heel to the right hip, towards the right hip, and make sure you wiggle. Make sure you have your sit bones on the ground. Bring the left hand, wrap it around the right leg, right hand behind. So we're going to twist all to the right. Take a breath in. As you take a breath out, starting from your navel, your ribs, your chest, shoulders, and then your head. Stay nice and tall here. Lifting the shoulders over hips still, right? We're trying not to lean back, lean forward. Trying to be nice and straight up and down. The floor so you have more leverage to twist. Let that go. Let's try the other side. Bring the legs out in front of you. So you can do it this way. If you have knee issues, I say keep that bottom leg straight. You can keep the foot on the inside of the knee, or you can cross it over, whatever works for you. And if you want to, you can take that right heel towards the left thigh. So we're going to wrap the right arm around the leg, left hand behind, get nice and tall, right on top of the sit bones. On the exhale, twist to the left. Let that go. And we're going to do a pigeon pose. So we're going to bring the knee to the short end of the mat. Line the knee up with the short end of the mat. But kind of take it out a little bit to the side. And bring the left leg back and turn the foot down. So we want to totally have our hip on the ground. Now if you need to, you could put a block right underneath your hip, right? So let's just stay up for a moment. Give it a few breaths. And then if you want to come forward, reach forward or hands underneath, and just relax. Try to bring that left hip, rotate that left hip towards the floor a little bit. Still keeping the right hip on the ground. Feel like somebody has your leg, your left leg, and they're pulling it and lengthening it. Hands underneath your shoulders, come up, belly, ribs, chest, chin. All right, let's roll over on the right side and try it on the left side. So again, we're lining up the knee with the short end of the mat, and then we're kind of letting it go out a little bit, right? Because we want our body to kind of come in. When we lay down, we want our body to come more forward. So hands underneath your shoulders, hip is turned down, foot is turned down. And we'll just stay lifted here. And then come forward. Arms out. You could try to, turn that right hand towards the ground, keeping the left hips on the floor. Remember, if you need to, you can always block underneath the left hip. Hands underneath your shoulders, coming up. And then roll over onto your left hip. Come around. Moving into our final pose today. Come onto your backs. Moving into Savasana. Legs wide, wider than your hips. Tuck your shoulders underneath you, palms facing the ceiling or the sky. And just try to let go there and relax. Let your muscle take in all the good alignment work that you do. You don't want to just get up and jump and run out of the room. You want your body to settle and remember what you've done so you can take it off the mat later. Trying to be still and soften the body into the earth. You can just let go. back to your fingers and your toes. Any movements that feel good. So stretch. Stretch overhead. Bring your knees up. Bring your knees towards your chest and rock a little bit. Rock over to the right or to the left in the fetal position. Stay there for a breath or two before you come up. Bring the arms overhead. Take a breath in. Hands to heart center. Take a breath out. We say namaste at the end of class because it means I respect all that's good and true in myself, and I respect all that's good and true in you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Have a great day, guys.